All right, welcome to Mental Toughness Monday. We are super happy to have you here and very excited to be talking about the things that we're talking about today. So, we're going to start with the emotional aspects of DigestZen. And I'm like looking everywhere, like, where's my book? Well, I know it's here somewhere, but I also have my phone. So, if you want to follow along on the app or in your book, go ahead and grab that. The app is the Essential Emotions app, and we are talking about Digest Zen today, which is such a great one. Also, it's great all the time, but it seems like this time of year more is happening from a digestive standpoint. We're digesting all the things that happened this year, and now we're also um, digesting and assimilating. We're kind of coming into that time of year when people are eating a lot of different things than from the rest of the time of year. So just be aware of all of that. So this is the oil of assimilation. DigestZen is a blend. It was formulated to support the body's digestive system. It aids in processing physical and emotional experiences. It helps individuals manage the overwhelming demands of life, especially when they take on too much at once or when the influx of information and experiences begin to overwhelm them. So, this is an excellent one for right now in the history of the world. Lots of things are coming to light. There's questions about tons of things. Lots of information is coming in. Some of it might be true, some of it might not be true. So, you need to be able to assimilate and not become overwhelmed. So DigestZen assists with that individual. It assists individuals in assimilating powerful emotions like anger and breaking down life's experiences into manageable pieces. When emotions are suppressed, they can lead to a form of emotional indigestion that causes individuals to feel mentally overwhelmed yet emotionally undernourished. In this state, they often lose their ability to distinguish between what helps them and what harms them. They may lose their appetite for both food and life and disconnect from their bodies or neglect their true needs. This blend helps them reconnect to those needs and nourish themselves both physically and emotionally. DigestZen combines powerful oils to support the mind and body in processing emotions, information, and experiences. It helps individuals regain clarity and discernment, empowering them to recognize what truly nourishes them and knowing how to best restore balance in their lives. So that sounds amazing, doesn't it? Okay, you can inhale from the bottle, diffuse, put it in your hands, rub, inhale, put it over your stomach, one or two drops under your tongue in a capsule or in water. Helps you to feel less overstimulated, overwhelmed, less suppressing, less disconnected, apathetic, undernourished, or confused, and to feel more assimilating, more mental clarity, more adapting, more nourished, more discerning, and more fulfilled. And it has peppermint, coriander, ginger, caraway, cardamom, fennel, and anise or anise, as you might pronounce it. Okay, questions or thoughts about DigestZen that you'd like to share,
Just so timely.
right? Tell me why.
Well, because overwhelm in our emotions class was my thing.
Yeah,
But interesting enough, digestion didn't come up
didn't
for
pop
me.
up. Yeah,
Yeah.
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 Don't
So
don't don't you? Sorry, I
go ahead.
forgot to raise my hand. I was
Go.
just thinking a lot of those oils are presented as singles. So
Mm.
the coriander, we have fennel, we have I don't think we have anise or star anise, but we I'm thinking in the book we don't get do we get the blends? I guess we do, but
Yeah,
seems
they're there.
like
We're reading it from the
so
book.
there's a win. There's a win. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it
I
is
can't find
interesting. And I think also that I just really believe in the power of the intuition and also of just like the research that's been done here. So even though this one didn't come up, what did come up for you, Chris? Which oils?
With the digestion.
Just
go with
what
your
were the oils?
overwhelm. Overwhelm.
Well, it says overwhelming demands of life, especially when they take on too much at once or when the influx of information and experiences begins to overwhelm them.
Yeah,
That just nailed it on the head. You
nailed
know,
it.
it was
And then
just intense.
which oils did you choose to work?
Uh,
Do you remember?
Past tense or yarrow palm.
Yeah, yeah. Okay. And they were perfect in that moment for
Right.
exactly what you needed. Yeah. So,
Yeah.
and that also I think speaks to the broad diversity of the different oils. And I love this as coming in as additional support for you right now. And then also additional support for all of us because I think on some level, all of us are facing overwhelm in one or more areas of our lives. And I think that feeling of overwhelm, I really loved what Mel Robbins said at convention when she talked about anxiety. And what anxiety is when you are facing something, but you don't feel capable to manage or face it. And that also seems very overwhelming, like that anxiety and overwhelm. It's kind of in that same family. So I loved that. And then this is just one that you can start to use and pick up and bring in again. And also, if it's better for yarrow palm or past tense, those are also some excellent ones to be able to. Um,
What's interesting though, putting it on my hands,
yeah.
peppermint is coming out strong. So it's like very clearing,
Yes.
very uplifting. Yeah.
I love it. I was trying to see if I had a bottle of it right here and I don't, which is sad to me because now I'm like, I really want some, but I'll get some as soon as we're done here. All right. Other thoughts about what we just read?
Well, so many of our symptoms of anxiety present in the stomach. You know how your little kids will get a stomach ache all the time and they're worried
Yes.
about going to school.
Yes.
Butterflies.
Yep. Those are really good points.
However,
Okay.
don't use it on a baby undiluted.
You're right. That is true.
How come
They don't
Wake
they have
Dad can't get in?
babies? They
I
they
don't
have a
know.
baby.
It says he's joining, but oh, there we go. Did you admit him again?
I did. That's third time.
Weird. I know he's still showing up as needing to be admitted for me too.
So we have that gentle one tamer for babies,
Yeah.
which is a little bit less intense.
Yes, and
Well,
also you can get DigestZen in the touch.
well,
So
I
that's
just say that because I used that on one of my grandbabies when I first got in, and then he really did cry.
oh,
Just saying.
it was too much, too
Yeah.
much.
Take
Yeah.
DigestZen in my VMG. It's a good combination, so you should definitely try it at least once in your life. It
Oh,
definitely.
4 drops in your VMG.
Yeah,
Oh.
Does it taste good?
yeah, it's a pretty good combination. I don't really
What's it?
like flavor, but like with VMG, it's not bad.
Huh.
I love it. So I'm actually a black licorice fiend, so I think DigestZen tastes amazing. But that sounds fun. So I'm going to try that this morning when I take my vitamins, which I haven't yet, which is not going to be
You
morning.
know what? We use DigestZen for sore throats and colds in something hot tea or hot water.
Yes, and breathe it in. It's super, super helpful. Digestion also comes up for sinus support.
Uh-huh.
And
And
I
cocoa.
love it in hot water. Breathe it in. It's so good. And around your belly button to help you assimilate all that extra mucus. So,
And also the hot cocoa. Did I say hot cocoa? I meant
so
to.
good in your hot chocolate. Oh my gosh.
It would be better than in your green drink, Sean.
You might really love it in hot chocolate. You should try it that way too. So, really good. Okay, let's jump into our book.
Well, Wake Dad just is not getting in.
We're trying to let you in, Tim, but for some reason it won't let you in. I don't know what the problem is. That's crazy. Okay, so let's jump into number 94. Champions know the power of persistence, right? That's the one.
Yep.
these while I make it so I can read. Um, Richard M. DeVos, founder of the Amway Corporation, he said, if I had to select one quality, one personal characteristic that I regard as being the most highly correlated with his success, whatever the field, I would pick the trait of persistence, determination, the will to endure to the end, to get knocked down 70 times and get off the floor saying, here goes number 71. There you go. Average people never truly decide what they want. So they wander from job to job, chasing different things until time finally runs out. Persistence to amateurs is never really a factor because they haven't focused on any single goal long enough to be persistent. When pros determine what they want, they burn the vision into their minds on a daily basis. They become obsessed with attaining the goal at almost any cost. At this stage, persistence becomes the primary factor in their success. Amateurs are often impressed by this, yet the champions are simply following their passions and refusing to look back. They reach a mental state in which the failure to persist is no longer an option. The great ones know the longer they hang tough, the greater the odds of victory. What looks like Herculean persistence to the outside world is really just the manifestation of world-class mental clarity in action. Champions decide what they want down to the last detail, and then they wage war to get it. Their sense of purpose and dogged persistence is a hard combination to beat. The great ones become unstoppable because they've convinced themselves there's no way to fail. This subjective perception is one of the most common thought processes of the world class. While the rest of the world watches with doubt and disbelief, champions talk themselves into believing that winning is their destiny and defeat is impossible. This winning expectation is the fuel that drives the champion to persist until they succeed, no matter how much pain they have to endure. Wow. That makes me just feel like getting her done.
Yeah, they burn it into their minds, and they reach a mental state in which the failure to persist is no longer an option.
Right. Right. So awesome. Defeat is impossible. Winning is their destiny.
Oh, wait,
Persistence.
that was an amateur statement that I read. That's why that didn't make sense when I said it.
Often, oh,
Now the great ones know the longer they hang tough, the greater the odds of victory. That
yes.
makes more sense. I heard a doTERRA leader say, have I failed? Very successful. Yes. And she said, then I get up and I tweak it or I throw it out and we try something new.
Who was that?
Lisa Zimmer.
Yeah.
She
Yeah.
looks very
No.
successful. You'd think she's got it all together, but
Is that?
She's like a normal person. What?
yeah, imagine that.
I know, right?
What
Yeah,
is
no,
that?
your quote was good, Chris. Amateurs are often impressed by this, the fact that persistence, that the world class are persisting, but champions are simply following wait a minute. They said they become obsessed with obtaining a goal at almost any cost. At this stage, persistence becomes no, I'm still reading the wrong thing. They reach a mental state. This is champions reach a mental state in which the failure to persist is no longer an option. So if they can't stop persisting because that's no longer an option for them. Because they're just like, no, we're going to keep going no matter what. So, yeah.
Yeah, I've been reading this book titled How to Change the World, and we're on chapter 9, and every chapter is a different like individual who has reshaped the world that they live in. Um, and we are talking about this lady from Budapest, and we're talking all about how she transformed community housing for those with special needs. And it took her like 5 years to get
Wow.
permits just to even open up because it was unheard of having like a private housing facility for these individuals. And she said a quote like, if I did not keep trying and keep trying and keep trying, and I would have given up a day before like March 14th, like 1989, I would have been nowhere. And so
Wow.
it's just kind of the idea of like you gotta keep your vision in mind. What do you want to achieve? And that's most important. Like what do you really want to do? And then don't let anything or anyone distract you from it because ultimately others won't see your vision.
Right.
Like only you will be able to see it and you'll have lots of haters.
Yep.
But
But
you
you'll also be able to cast that vision to people who do see the vision, who do feel called to what it is that you're doing. And so even though there's going to be people who can't see your vision, those are not your people. That's not your audience, right? Like cast
yeah,
your vision and then get better and better at casting that vision and then bring the people and help them to do it. And they'll have maybe a different take on what you're doing as well. I
yeah,
love that. Thank
if you
you.
don't succeed the first time, then it wasn't the right way. So
Right. Or try it again because something in that process maybe needs to be a little bit tweaked. And that's true of inventors and explorers and all kinds of people, that have in throughout history. Okay, the world-class resource is the 1921 classic, The Go-Getter by Peter Kine. This book is the ultimate tale of a man who refused to settle for second best. I guarantee it'll alter the way you think about the concept of persistence forever. So I have actually never read that. I wonder if it's free available somewhere because 1921 was long enough ago that it could be in the public domain if they haven't kept that under a copyright somewhere. Um, and then the action step for today, make a list of the times when you exhibited ironclad persistence. Go back to your childhood if necessary. I was just thinking that when I was reading that first sentence. I'm like, some of us might have to go way back to see some persistence. And next, ask this critical thinking question. If I applied that same world-class persistence to my current challenges, would it change my life? If the answer is yes, you know what to do. There you go. Okay, speaking of persistence, I'm super proud of all of you for continuing to stick with learning and growing so that you can grow your doTERRA business. And I know we have some great things coming up. And also, I know that we're working on some different things too. I just got the information from Amy Fulmer about how she does her Pizza Impossibilities nights where they just basically gather up some people that they would like to do business with. And they have pizza and they laugh and talk. And then they have um, 20 minutes. Let me see if I can find her note really quickly. But I loved this 20 minutes, 15 to 20 minutes talking about the product, 15 to 20 minutes talking about the business and impact, and then 15 to 20 minutes resolving any concerns or objections. And she uses her experience doTERRA slideshow with that um with her thing that we and she sent it to me and said feel free to copy and adapt. So we have that as a resource, but be thinking about what would you say in 15 minutes of product? What would you say in 15 minutes of business and impact? Like what would those things look like? And then also you've been to and probably enough of the maybe you've been to enough of the Christians and also Natalie's uh, experienced doTERRA events that you know how they go about, like what would keep you from doing this and what would make you want to do this. And so when you're putting up those things and then you're talking about and resolving the concerns for the objections about what would keep them from doing it. That's just basically it. So that's kind of the basic outline. I know that we're looking at putting that together. I'm happy to try to come up and help facilitate or come in on Zoom, whatever we can work out um, to make that work for anybody who is interested in looking at the possibility of, what it might look like to build a business with doTERRA. And I love that they call it Pizza Impossibilities. I
Mm.
think it's cute. So All right. Any other questions or anything I can help you with before we jump to our next events?
In 30 seconds.
Right?
Yeah. Hey, are you are you still recording?
I'm turning it off right now as soon as I find
I
it.
want to ask a question.
Okay.